ever seen a movie that was so close to being just like God tier that when it didn't hit there, it was just really frustrating? Well, I saw Kung Fu Panda 4 this weekend. Let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and tonight I'm here to talk to you about, you already heard, Kung Fu Panda 2. Before I get into it, I'm going to remind you guys, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. And also, just I hope you're having a good day. I just want to say, I just hope that you've had a great day when you're watching this. Whenever you're watching this, I hope that your day has been fantastic. So, anyway, get into the review. Kung Fu Panda 4. This is the fourth installment in the Kung Fu Panda franchise, DreamWorks Kung Fu Panda franchise, starring Jack Black, Dustin Hoffman, and this time around, Awkwafina as well. So the series, for those of you who are, maybe just been hiding under a rock for the past X amount of years, Kung Fu Panda follows a panda known as Po, who's played by Jack Black, who becomes the mystical dragon warrior of, oh, dang it, I forgot what his village was called, too. Isn't that something? Well, he becomes Dragon Warrior after being selected by what could have been an accident, what could have just been fate. And throughout the movies, you see him fight countless battles against martial artists, and he always subverts expectations. He always spreads this really great amount of positivity, and he always, no matter what, kicks a lot of butt. His words, not mine. He kicks a lot of butt. His words, not mine. So this movie, fourth installment, is this is one that was long awaited. I think the last Kung Fu Panda came out, Kung Fu Panda 3 came out in 2016. So what? It's been 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 8 years. 8 years since the last Kung Fu Panda movie. Fun little tidbit, I do remember that the Kung Fu Panda movie was created with 6 installments in mind. So knowing that we actually got 4 and we have 2 potential installments left is like really amazing to me, because I'm like, wow, we can actually pull this off. That's really cool. But getting ahead of myself, well, on another page. So Kung Fu Panda 4, like I said, stars Jack Black as our titular character Po, Awkwafina as the brand new character, and maybe the new Dragon Warrior, Zen. We got Bryan Cranston as Poe's father, his panda father. That's funny. James Hung as Mr. Ping, his adopted father. Dustin Hoffman as Master Shifu. And Ian McShane returns as Tai Lung, the tiger, or the snow panther, the snow leopard? He's a snow leopard. And you got some more newcomers in the form of Ke Huy Quan and Viola Davis, who plays the chameleon, the shape-shifting villain of the movie. So this film, it follows Po as he must train a new warrior when he's chosen to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. However, when a powerful shape-shifting sorceress sets her eyes on his staff of wisdom, he suddenly realizes he's going to need some help. And he teams up with quick-witted Corsic Fox. And Po soon learns that heroes can be found in the most unexpected of places. So, y'all know how I love how I read that, right? So, right off the top, so this movie is, I've been telling people, because I saw it on Friday, I saw it opening night. I had a free ticket. I was like, why not use it? So, I went and I saw this movie, and the first thing I can say about this movie, above anything else, is that this is one of the most gorgeous, beautiful, well-animated movies I have ever seen. And, I mean, it's kind of like the only animated movie that's come out this year, I think. But, yeah, no, this is the most beautiful, gorgeous animated movie in DreamWorks' catalog. One of the most, actually. Like, I love, visually, this movie was top tier. Oh, my gosh. Like, chef's kiss, whatever you're supposed to do for that one. I give this movie as flowers for that. There are so many great shots, great camera angles. Just great lighting, great background work. There's so many great things with the animation, just the textures of the fur and just how the light hits it. It's just so many great things, especially when it comes down to the fight sequences. Oh my gosh, there's one shot that sent chills through my spine. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like that, I will give this movie 1,000 bajillion, gazillion, infinite amount of points for the fact that it was visually stunning to me. It was visually stunning. It was visually stunning. I talked to somebody else, I saw it with a friend of mine. It's just visually, it is stunning. And that is about the highest praise I can give to this film. That's not a bad thing, though. Everybody, slow down. It's not a bad thing. So the story, it is really good. So, like I mentioned earlier, we do follow Paul on the next step of his journey. He's already mastered inner peace. He's become the Dragon Warrior. He's done so many great things. So now he's being called upon to be the spiritual leader. And the spiritual leader, if I'm not mistaken, that is what Oogway was. Oogway was the spiritual leader. You know what I'm saying? So Poe is being called to be what Oogway was in the first movie. It's like, wow. Like, that is so cool for Poe's character. I love that. I love that for him. I think that's amazing. So, of course, he has to find a replacement for the Dragon Warrior. And so when we see Poe in this movie, he's just at a point where he's just kicking butt. He's kicking butt. He's saving people. He's doing the thing that he loves to do. He's doing what he wanted to do since the first movie. He's this master kung fu artist. He's a great warrior. And he doesn't know if he can become this spiritual leader because he doesn't see himself as wise. But as we know in this franchise, when fate comes a calling, you better pick up because fate will have its way. And I do enjoy that a lot about just about the series in general, is that it definitely one of the main messages of this entire series is just because you don't see yourself as something doesn't mean you cannot be that. And it is up to you to unlock the potential that you have inside of you. And in order to do that, you must be yourself, embrace yourself, come to terms with yourself, come to terms with the things around you, and just be. You can be whatever it is that you are destined to be. And there is nothing that can stand in your way except for you. And that is the central theme of these movies. And I love them so much. I love that. But that going back to the actual story of the movie, it is interesting having to see Poe just embark on this journey to and the whole him looking for a Dragon Warrior thing. It's a funny sequences with like an audition process and everything. That was fun. But when you actually get introduced to Zen, who is the fox, which I swore it was a wolf. I'm just saying, I thought it was a wolf. Thought she was a wolf, played by Aquafina. You see how you kind of see how he can see who that protege is, right? And even when he presents the idea of her being the next Dragon Warrior, Shifu was just like, "What? Her? What do you mean her? Like that's you picked that?" And Poe kind of wraps itself back to the first movie. It was like, "Hey, it can be anybody." Like that type of thing. So the story, like I said, though, the story was nice. For it to be a fourth installment, I wouldn't have, sometimes you think with a movie that's 4 deep, you kind of think like, okay, well, maybe it won't really, like, what else can you really say? What else can you really do? Where else can you take the characters that you haven't taken them before? And this movie says, well, yeah, we got a few things we can do. One of the things I want to say about this movie, though, before you go into it, just so you're not taken off guard, the Furious 5, they're not in this. They're in it, but they're not in it. And you'll see what I mean when you see the movie. They're not. This is really just Poe's journey. This is Poe doing. This is Poe's journey. Like, this is Poe protecting the Valley of Peace. That's what it's called. Damn it. So simple. This is Poe protecting the Valley of Peace and all that. And it's just really interesting, just like I said, just seeing how much he's grown into this role. But so the story, I will say, is very gripping. Well, not very gripping, but it is an interesting story, and it makes sense for the story to go in this direction. But what I come to these movies for, what I've ever since Kung Fu Panda 2, what I've looked for in a Kung Fu Panda movie is action. And this one does have I haven't seen the third one in quite some time. So I gotta kind of, maybe it won't be fair for me to say that, but I can say that from when I remember watching the third one, I wasn't thoroughly impressed by the action. I always am impressed by Poe being able to hold his own in the fight. Don't get it fucked up. Poe will tear your ass up. But it's just the action in this movie. It was, I tell people, this is the bar. This is the bar, right? This is the bar. High bar. It's a high bar. It's just it's like it's like not there completely. And the action sequences are great. They're great conceptually. Like, you watch them. There's one scene where it's like, you know how some martial arts movies, it has like the like they fight, like they're all like silhouettes and they're all fighting and stuff like that. They do a scene like that, and conceptually it's very well, but it didn't give me that hype factor. You know what I mean? It didn't give me that hype factor. However, in the same vein, watching like I said, looking at the fights and seeing it conceptually is like, wow, that's okay, Poe, I see you, buddy. I see you, man. But it's just like, it didn't give me that. And I'm not saying it's not going to give you that, because it probably will. But because I heard some people in the theater when I saw it, I heard some people go, ooh, you know, like I heard some people getting high. I heard some rounds of applause in there. So it's not that the sequences fall short. It's just that for me, it doesn't. It's like it knocks on the door of the bar, and it just like but it's like a quiet knock, you know. There's a fight sequence that I do enjoy that has one of my favorite shots in the entire film, if not one of my favorite shots in an anime movie of all time. And it's just it's full of moments that are really, really good. So that's, but like I said, the action really just depends on where you're at with action in general, right? Like, if you like certain things in your action, for me, it was like it just needed an extra thing. It needed an extra, like, put your back into that one. Just come on, put your back into that one. But they didn't, and it's fine. It doesn't lower the quality of the movie. It's just like, it just doesn't bring it. It doesn't bring what I think is a bigger potential in terms of this being an action movie. It just doesn't really bring that for me. But like I said, it is still good to look. It's still good. It's still good. One of the things I want to talk about is the villain. The villain of this film, the Chameleon, who's played by Viola Davis, might I say excellently by Viola Davis, is such an intimidating character. I say she is second to the Peacock from the second movie. Yeah, like, because she's like she's chameleon, so she's chameleon size and real skinny, small. You know, not really the type of villain you would think would have such an intimidating presence. But that's the thing. The animation and the visuals on this movie, get the camera angles, that everything they do with presenting this villain on screen to you gives her such an intimidating presence that it's just like, oh, she means business. And it's again, Viola Davis's performance does her well, because it's like, wow, this is a menacing like, this is, wow, she's intimidating, she's a menace, she means business, she's not playing around. And you know, once she achieves a part of her goal, she is a complete and total problem. And her backstory is pretty good, you know, as to why she wants to be a villain. But like I said, she's second to the Peacock for me. The Peacock is like my favorite. I think it's my favorite Kung Fu Panda villain thus far. And speaking of the Peacock and other Kung Fu Panda villains, this is not a spoiler. If you've seen any of the trailers, you know that Tai Lung is back. Kinda. So the Chameleon can change into Tai Lung. The movie starts with Tai Lung in a way. But I will say this, and this is as much as I will say about Tai Lung's role in the film. I'll say two things. One, Tai Lung is in the movie. Like that, not just the Chameleon as Tai Lung, but the actual Tai Lung is actually in this movie. Number one. Plays a bigger role than I would have expected. That's number one. Number two, with that said, it's as if they kind of overuse him, in my opinion, right? Because it's as if, and I've said this when I talk about the film casually. It's as if they wanted to make a movie, a Kung Fu Panda movie, where they could bring back Tai Lung, but they couldn't quite figure out how to make it make total sense. So they kind of took some of the things that they would have done for that and kind of put it in here. And then we're like, but we can't go but so far with this because they had they have a, y'all know I be trying to avoid spoilers, okay? Work with me. So they it's like they had like an end goal and they kind of just skipped the rest of it and just brought you to that end goal that they would have had for Tai Lung had they been able to figure out a proper and respectful and meaningful way to have Tai Lung return in a Kung Fu Panda sequel, if that makes sense, right? And I enjoy the thesis of what it was that of what his role was, right? I enjoy the theory of it. I enjoyed the bare boneness of it. But it's like I said, they kind of overuse him a bit. And it's like, you didn't have to, but you did, but you didn't have to. And so it does reach a point where it gets a little gratuitous, but it's not like overboard, but you can definitely see it where it gets gratuitous. Speaking of gratuitous, wow, I'm on a roll right now. I know in the marketing they've had that part with the bunnies. This makes my tummy tingle. Yeah, those rabbits are freaking overdone as well. That is a lot. I was ready to stop seeing those rabbits, and I was ready to stop seeing them from the trailers I was seeing on TV all the time. So yeah, I saw the Super Bowl spot for it, and I was like, oh wow, cool, you know, the rabbits, yeah. And then like they just kept going and going and kept going and kept going and didn't stop and just kept going. And I was like, please, can we just put them away? Can we put the rabbits away now? We get it. They were cute and unexpected, but can we put them away now? Can we just stop? So that's my opinion on the rabbits and everything. But so I mean, yeah, like those aspects of the movie that I mentioned, like I said, like there's a lot of good things to say about this film. Like like I've already said, from the villain to the actions to to the action sequences to the animation, the jokes weren't all really that great to me. I didn't get a lot of laughter out of it. I will be honest, like a lot of the jokes fell flat to me. I didn't even realize there were as many jokes. There were some funny lines, but I don't think that they were really intentionally meant to be as funny as I thought they might have been. And other ones I think were supposed to be funnier than I thought. There is a gag that they do twice. And there's a gag that they do in this movie where someone falls off of something, and they do the gag not just twice. It's not the fact that they did the gag twice. Doing the gag twice is fine, but they literally did the gag back to back. Like I've never seen a joke done back to back, and not like back to back where it's just like, oh, it's the same character, same scenario, just happens back to back. No, it's like these characters do it here, and then the very next scene, these characters do it over here. And I was like, wait a minute, did they just do the same gag twice? Like really back to back? Literally back to back. Now that's so lazy. But what was funny about it was that the second time they did it, it worked really well. And the first time they did it, it was just like, okay. But the second time, I really laughed. So I thought about it, and it's like the characters involved the second time, it was funnier because you have a different connection to those characters as opposed to the characters that happened to the first time, where it's like, the connection wasn't really there for me to feel that one. But the second one, like I said, the second one was damn hilarious. Like everyone, like even everyone in the theater laughed at that one more than they laughed at the one that happened first. So it was just they put a back-to-back joke. And I was like, I feel like they did the joke a third time too. Could be wrong about that one, but they definitely did it back to back. And I was like, okay, well, that's something. But I mean, overall though, like this was a pretty solid movie. Was it the best in the franchise? No, the best in the franchise will always be Kung Fu Panda 2, and I stand on that. But I think that I would put this one at a second place. In terms of how much I like them, I think it will be 2, 4, 1, and then 3. Yeah, and I would be open to just doing a full rewatch of the series just to see how I really feel. See if that's accurate. But I do. I think that I think that this is, if anything, this movie is behind the second movie. And that's just my humble opinion on that. But definitely feel free to check it out for yourself. Like I said, it just came out in theaters on March 8th, which was last Friday, as of the time of this recording. So critically, this has 70% on Rotten Tomatoes and 87% on Fandango. No IMDb scores that I see. And let me tell you, this franchise has not dropped below 70%. Like none of them have dropped below 70%. And I think the highest rated one is 2. But anyway, yeah, I agree with that rating, 70% Rotten Tomatoes. Me, I give this movie I give it a 4.9. I give it a 4.9 out of 5 stars because it's really knocking at being a great movie. It's a good movie, but it's knocking at being a great. No, it's a very good movie, knocking at being a great movie. And it's just knowingly kills some of the vibe of this for me. Like it's like I said, it has so much going for it, and it just kind of like it's like at the surface of it. It's just like, oh well, there's great, but I think we're just gonna stay at very good. But there's great right there. I can literally just do this and I touch great. But it just doesn't do that. But that does not take away from the fact that this was an enjoyable film. I think kids will love it. I think adults will love it. I think everyone will love this film, and I do hope that we get the next 2 Kung Fu Panda installments. I like the way it ended. Won't spoil anything, but as much as I'm not a fan of the Aquafina Fox, I would not mind seeing the continuation, seeing where they take the next 2 installments, should that still be the plan. I would be interested in seeing that. Only time will tell, but in the meantime, I am fine with this being the ending as well. So I'm fine with this being the last installment. I'm fine with this being the first part to a new trilogy, so that they complete their 6-story arc. Either way, I enjoyed what I saw. So I will say that much. So that's really all I have to say about it. I was really here way longer than I expected to be. But yeah, what can you say? The movie was good. The movie was solid. So make sure you check it out. Kung Fu Panda 4 now playing in theaters. Yeah, that's it, guys. So thank you all for tuning in to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I really appreciate you guys. Oh, this movie's 1 hour 34 minutes long and it's rated PG, in case you guys need to know that. But yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate this. Remember to hit that like button down below. Comment down below if you enjoyed this video. And to see more reviews like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'm Dave. And until next time, be easy, stay breezy. Go Kung Fu fighting. I fudged that one up. Peace.